Hey detailers, podcast sponsor Joe here from Autofiber Australia. As pro detailers, we are all about using the highest quality products for our customers when it comes to compounds, chemicals, and ceramic coatings. But what about microfiber? Are you using cheap towels that get used once and then tossed into the bin? You need to try out our amazing Autofiber range of microfiber. Seriously, it is the best stuff going around. Use our exclusive podcast code 15DDUP and get 15% off when you purchase any of our premium Korean or Chinese made microfiber. We have a wide range of products that are tailor-made to last a long haul, so you get the best value for money and your customers will appreciate it. Go to autofiber.com.au or find us on Instagram to make your purchase and check out our range. Now back to the podcast.
Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
G'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie. Back once again for our fortnightly episode of everything detailing in Australia. So thanks for tuning in and listening. So not a lot happening with me as usual. So well, there is, but yeah, I'm not bragging about it, but flat out. So with this and detailing as well. So yeah, everything's going pretty well. Just follow up a little bit of admin, what's going on with a couple of events that one extra and one that's happening this weekend. So if you don't know already, remember the Detail Auto House and Bill from the Detail Market have teamed up with Sonex. So they're doing a training that's this Saturday up in Sydney at Detail Auto House. So studio there. So 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So yeah, jump onto their socials and check that out and sign up for that one and go and check them out while Bill's in Sydney and they've teamed up and no doubt it's going to be a good show. So yeah, good luck to the boys running that one. So got another one that popped up the other day. I don't get sent these, I just see them and I thought I'll put them up for everyone's info. So if you do have events, let us know. I can then let everyone else know about it, I guess. But yeah, Sean Blackburn. So he's doing Onyx professional training, coatings training. So that's up in Outback Car Care Detailing Studio. I'm pretty sure that's in Darwin. I'm 100% sure, but yeah. So it's a 2-day professional course. So that's for mainly for ceramic and graphene training. So if you're interested, and you're listening up in Darwin way. That's on 11th and 12th of May. So, yeah, I did share that one. So, Outback Car Care, by the looks of that, of hosting that one. So, and you become an Onyx applicator afterwards. So, very good. So, but yeah, nothing else. But probably one thing I don't do enough is probably shout out our sponsors. So, you obviously hear Joe at the start of every episode. So, talking about auto fiber. So, if you looking for some auto fiber, no matter what, drying towels, coating applicators, microfiber towels, they've all got it. So jump over to their website there and pick up some goods. And we've got our code that we always shout out with. So use that, take advantage of that for sure, and get yourself some really good microfiber. So, and also Sleekspace. So I've got a little bit coming up with him at the once I get my shipment. So yeah, with some new floor tiles. So if you are interested in floor tiles for your studio, so check them out as well. And yeah, just mention us and we'll Sam will hook you up with some good looking tiles for your studio. So, but yeah, thanks heaps to those guys for coming on board and supporting what we do. And yeah, bringing this every week or fortnight, I must say. So. But yeah, this week we got where are we heading? We're heading to Cairns. So heading on up to catch up with Tropix Mobile Car Detailing and Car Detailing up there. So he'll explain that about what's going on with that. So we'll catch up with Ryan. So another young dude having a crack. Believe it or not, he's got some workers and yeah, does a lot of range of stuff. So explains a lot of little bits and pieces from anyone that is trying to start out and stuff as well. So that's some pretty good little tips and tricks there he has. So even though he's young, it doesn't matter. So he's having a crack and he speaks really well. So he done pretty well. So it's actually went on for a bit, probably a bit longer than I thought it was this episode. But no, it was a good one. So hopefully you'll all enjoy this one. And yeah, if anyone wants to come on, hit us up. Yeah, I'm trying to bank a few and stay ahead. So I know scheduling's not the easiest. So, but one thing I will say towards probably the end of the year, things will get a hell of a lot easier in my space over here. So, um, won't elaborate too much on that. But yeah, I should be able to free myself up a lot more than I am at the moment, and help with everyone's scheduling and mine, and yeah, trying to get guests on in a timely manner. So but yeah, we'll play it by ear. But yeah, let us know if you do want to come on, or if you know of anyone. I do have some people. Everyone's busy and have given me some rough dates, so that's handy to play with. So I'll reach back out with them. So, but nah, all right, enough of me. Let's hook in. Let's welcome Ryan from Tropix Detailing Cairns. Good afternoon, mate, or good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Oh, I can't complain, man. It's a weekend. I'm not working, so for now anyway, you never know. There's always last minute calls on weekends, but yeah, nice cruisy weekend.
No, that's good to say. No, I said before, like, thanks heaps for taking the effort. You reached out the other week as well, because when I was sort of looking around, like everyone's sort of busy these days, and we are and trying to line guests and stuff. So it's cool to have you on, and yeah, I always try and move the details around the country. So we had a guy from Melbourne the other week, so we're heading north to Cairns today. So
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think there's a lot of different markets, whether it be down south or up north or even out west kind of thing. Everywhere's different. I know we were saying earlier, I was saying a lot of people down south have got all jumpers and whatnot on, but up in Queensland we're still wearing singlets and footy shorts, man. It's still bloody hot up here, and it's a different sort of just kind of climate, and especially clients as well, much different as to what we have come through.
yeah, we'll probably touch on a bit of that. I know I've had Intensity. I think his name Sid from Intensity. I think he was Cairns. So it's cool to have you guys on from up that way, because and even um, from Darwin, we've had, like, it's a different climate, and people probably within Australia might not know that, and even overseas people listening, it is a different climate from North Queensland, isn't it? Far north,
Oh,
pretty much.
ab absolutely, man. It's just constantly hot. And even then, the actual environment too, you got a lot of red dirt and whatnot, a lot of more dust. People up here are more likely to go four-wheel driving and get their utes dirty and whatnot as well. Probably won't see a Ferrari too much around these parts, but it's mainly Land Cruisers up here.
Yeah, it's Lanka is a country, isn't it?
That's it.
So how long have you been doing? So there's Tropix Mobile Detailing, and there's
Mhm.
you other just Tropix Detailing Cairns, isn't there? So
Yeah.
what did mobile become first?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to give you a little bit of context, sort of when I first started, it was just me. I was working out of all the vehicles. It was a Lexus Coupe. I had a nice Lexus Coupe RC350. Not a whole lot of boot space, but throwing all my pressure washer, and at the time when I started, I had a cordless vacuum, not an actual vacuum, so barely any suction. I was doing really easy maintenance stuff to begin with, a couple spray bottles and whatnot. I was working out of that for a couple months, 3, 4 months, something like that, just doing weekends here and there. Um, and then sort of had to expand a little bit more. And a client called me with a Hilux workmate canopy on the back. They wanted it detailed, and they said they're ready to sell it. And I said, "Well, how much are you selling it for?" And they gave me a bloody good price on it, pretty low Ks too, and took
Mm.
it from there and upgraded that, and then put on my first staff member, and then fast forward about, oh God, I say a year and a half is when we got our first workshop. Had about 94 square meters. As we moved into that workshop, that's when I opened up a second company name, which is Tropix Detailing Cairns. So we go by two company names, but a lot of the time now it's just Tropix Detailing Cairns. I just have Tropix Mobile Detailing Cairns registered just so no one else can take it.
Yep.
obviously for the website and domains and whatnot as well. But yeah, first workshop would have been April 2023. It's when we opened that, 94 square meters. Good little place. Had a lot of good memories, a lot of good work in there. But we started to grow and expand even more than we initially thought, and trying to fit, two Land Cruisers or big Ram 1500s inside a 94 square meter shed that's got a 3 meter by 3 meter opening is not particularly great. So I sort of went on the hunt for another spot, and I found a place that had about almost 205 square meters. Um, Three roller doors, lots of space, good shop frontage too, next to a cafe, in the middle of an industrial district, which is pretty much exactly what I wanted. I wanted that shop frontage so we can open up a bit of a retail store and whatnot. So we were only in the other workshop from April till about December, and then December over to January during that holiday season, we moved everything into the new workshop and started construction and building some little bits and bobs in there. So pretty quick succession. We've only been established for just over 2 years, I'm going to say. May 2022 is when I first registered the ABN. So yeah, approaching that 2 year mark. Very quick to go from working out of a little coop to having two workshops and having the mobile unit there as well. So
No, that's pretty impressive. But what brought you into detailing? Why did you go mobile, and how did you even get into or the thought of detailing?
I mean, the short answer is I was bored at a desk job, quite honestly. My background is in IT actually. I worked in tech for about 5 years. So I built up a lot of skills around, I've worked in both small businesses and corporate, and then eventually federal government as well. So I have a range of an idea. I worked with NDIS for a little bit, so I have a range of different industries that I actually know and sort of have contacts in. And a lot of that corporate etiquette and professionalism, as well as stuff like building a website, marketing, and understanding how to manage and run staff, and sort of how businesses operate as well. Um, but I was working 38 hours a week, but how much work there actually was very little.
Mm.
Most government jobs very cushy. You don't do a whole lot of work, but you still get paid good money and fantastic money. Can't lie. I mean, I was, God, it would have been 2021 when I was in that job. Um, Making great money, like over $80,000 a year, sitting at a desk doing pretty much nothing. Great money for someone that age. But it didn't feel like I had purpose.
Mm.
I wanted to do a little bit more. I wasn't cut out to sit at a desk for the rest of my life. I know I had good skills and I had a plan. So in my spare time at my desk job, I started just doing a bit more research. A big inspiration was Larry from Ammo NYC over in America.
Yep.
Used to watch all his videos, and I'm sure a lot of people did. Started learning a bit more about processes and what he did in his business, and from there started doing all the graphic design and all the marketing, sort of prepping everything before launching it. Then registered the ABN, opened up a business page on Google and Facebook and Instagram, so try to hit the ground running. Started off with friends and family, and once that started to dry up, I started exploring with marketing. I was, how much if I put in $50 a week, what can that get me in return? And then it started to sort of snowball from there, and understanding algorithms and whatnot um, as well. But it got to the point, so I was working 5 days a week in the tech job, and I'd work the 2 days on the weekend doing detailing. I got so busy on a weekend that I called my boss and I said, "Hey, can I go down to 3 days a week?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." Obviously, he knew there wasn't much of a workload anyway, so he was fine with it.
That's good.
So we went down to that 3 days a week, and then by that time, it would have been November 2022. I was pretty much booked out very regularly, but I didn't have enough work for me to really make that jump into full time. It's a scary step to jump out of a job.
Mm.
But I had a local garbage truck company contact me. Very strange contract, as you can imagine. But they
Mm.
contact me November, would have been just before November 22. I said, "Hey, Ryan, we want you to come quote these 42 trucks." And I was like, "Okay, what am I doing to these trucks?" They're like, "You're polishing them. We want all of them polished." I was like, "That's a big job. That's a lot of money, as you can
Mm.
imagine." Um,
For a
so,
one
all right.
man.
Yeah, for one man, I was like, all right, cool. When do you need it done by? At this point, it would have been like November 1st, and he said, I need it by November 30th. It's like, wow, that's a lot of trucks, man, for one guy. And like, obviously didn't say that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
he understood. And I said, all right, let me just go back and do some calculations. Well, they were very happy with the price. They were keen on the price. I didn't underquote them, didn't overquote them. Very fair price. But I would have been 22, being 22, looking at that hell of a lot of money, very enticing to quit my job. Because it was pretty much half my wage at that
Mm.
point for what, 42 trucks, a lot of bloody trucks to polish. Um, at that point I did have one staff member, but he had no polishing experience. So I was sort of on the hunt for someone that had some polishing experience. There's a local guy that wanted to make a bit of extra money. So put him on with me. I signed the contract, and called my boss the following day and resigned. I was like, mate, sorry, but I got to go. And he was really understanding. He's like, mate, completely understand you. You're growing. It's all good. No bad blood. Um, but moved on from that. And yeah, just since that contract, it's been up and up and up. And since that, they have recently reached out to me to do maintenance washes on trucks, which once again is a large contract we're yet to accept, trying to find someone that is suitable in our company culture and willing to work on, garbage trucks. It's not the nicest thing in the world, but I'm willing to pay very well. But trying to find someone who's determined to do that on a full-time basis is pretty rough, as you can imagine. But there's probably going to be a lot of chats around contracts and whatnot as we do a lot of detailing. We do pretty much everything you can imagine, minus PPF and tint. But I'm a big believer in, keeping to the basics as well, not straying too far away into doing specialized services like tint, like PPF, like ceramic coating and paint protection and whatnot. But yeah, it's been a very linear sort of progression moving forward. And I've definitely made a few mistakes here and there, but also making a lot of right moves and learning from those mistakes. And the biggest thing for us has always been customer feedback. If they say, oh, if we start to notice that things are perhaps not hitting the mark, where the customer's saying there's a lot of smudges in the windows or whatnot, whether, you pursuit of perfection, you can't always be perfect with every detail. Um, but if we start to notice a bit of a pattern, we pull up and go, okay, we need to focus on this. We really need to do that. We take that feedback on board. It's not just ignoring the customer and going, oh, well, it's just a one-time thing, whatever. It's not. Any issue that arises is always treated seriously.
Yeah. So you managed to get through all them trucks, and so they're bringing them back for maintenance details now. Is that sort of how it
Yeah,
worked? Yeah.
so they had their boss coming up. The actual director of that company was coming up. We managed to knock all of them out well on time. I think we finished it like 2 or 3 days early. But their existing truck washer they had left, and they want us to do maintenance washes. For me, it's not a money thing. It's purely an operation thing. I just need to find someone that's good for it and would be happy to take it on. But
Mm.
once again, I'm sure other detail business owners can resonate with this. But finding good staff and a good team is difficult. Especially, I mean, I'm 23 now, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of applications that I get that are people that are in their 30s or 40s that have great experience, but it's hard to have someone on that's older than you and for them to resonate with you in the same way. The other two gentlemen that I've got on, one's I think he's 19, and the other gentleman's 22. Fantastic group of boys. I love them. They're
Mm.
great. Bloody good at their job too. That's the main thing I always say to other local business owners is it's always good to hire talent. Don't just hire someone because you know them or this and that, and they're your mate. And I know a lot of people do that locally, but genuinely going out and finding that local talent and looking after them too. That's a big thing. The boys have come from small car washes, or they're working at local dealerships and not getting treated the best, and they come into the workshop and they've got the best tools, whether it be Milwaukee, ShineMate, Rupes, anything. They've got air compressors, they've got air tools, they've got a fully kitted out ute, everything's on reels. We've now got a showroom, a reception, we've got an aircon lunchroom. Like it's really going that full mile, even that fully stocked fridge with energy drinks, water, putting snacks and stuff in the fridge to keep them going through the day because they bust their ass, they really do,
Mm.
and I want to look after them. So even stuff like that, um, and just keeping everyone happy, that's my thing. I'm not a people pleaser necessarily, but if you do a good job, um, it's always good to look after someone like that.
And it's probably good around like you're all similar age, so you can all sort of bounce off each other and
Yeah,
probably know what they want, and
yeah,
like you're similar age, so you're like, well, this would I would like if
oh,
my boss was employing me, like is what I'd want.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the context of me doing what I've done with them as well is I've had some bad bosses. Everyone has, you come into a workplace and the boss is not a great person, don't want to use certain words, but not a great person. And I don't want others to experience that. I want them to feel like they want to stay in this job.
Mm,
I want them to come and enjoy their job. And the boys know that every day's not going to be great. We're not going to be working on Audi R8s every day of the week. It'd be
mm.
nice, but that's not how Cairns is. I know Melbourne and Sydney and down south, you can definitely do that. But I think in Cairns, it's like maybe two Audi R8s. There's like, down south, G Wagons are basically Land Cruisers, right?
Yeah.
And there's up here, I think if you see a Land Cruiser, if you see a G Wagon once a year, you might be lucky. They're very, very, very rare up here. You got a few AMGs and what not going around, but you don't see McLarens up here. There's a couple Ferraris getting around, but the blokes only take them out when it's really sunny.
Yeah.
They go for certain cars and coffee meets and whatnot. But yeah, it's a really a different beast up here. But they know that some days aren't going to be great. But keeping the workplace culture good is what keeps them going through and being able to resolve issues if there's an issue with one of the boys and they're a bit upset, pull them aside, have a yarn, have an understanding of what's going on. Don't just yell at them and scream at them
Yeah.
like some people do. It's an awful way to go, and I'm not that sort of person. I'm very patient. I like to think I am, and at least be an understanding because I know they don't want to be yelled at and they want to be treated as a person. So I definitely do that for them.
Treat them as a person, not a number. As
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. They're not just a wage. They're helping the business running, and that's I could realistically do it by myself. Not the amount of workload we've got, but
mm,
what's pre-booked and what comes through. I've got more than enough work to do it solo, but to me, what's rewarding, we were talking about purpose earlier. What gives me purpose is being able to pay for their bills through paying them wages, help out their family, give them purpose, give them really good skills. And even then it's like they don't have the best understanding of certain things. Like one of them bought a bike recently, a brand new bike. He bought a beautiful Yamaha R7, and the finance people were trying to stitch him up. They were putting him on some bogus interest rate and doing this and that and trying to put certain people on as guarantors, so if it falls through the cost goes onto them. And I looked at it through with him to give him some advice because he came to me for advice. I've had a few loans here and there, paid them all off, all sweet and whatnot, so a good understanding. But I looked at it and I said, man, they're trying to stitch you up here. So with that advice, he went back, got a way better rate, no guarantors, this and that, and he's happy with the bike, and he's paying an okay price. He didn't get completely ripped.
mm.
So it's even stuff like that.
Obviously, your background before sort of helped you with that, and it's obviously helped you with your business side of things too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really grateful that I had that experience in tech, and spent a little while there. The two main positions I had was system admin or ICT manager, so that people skill and leadership come from the management side, and a lot of the tech skills and whatnot come from the other side. But even down to stuff like organizing everything in an Outlook calendar, giving the boys access to the calendar, understanding how domains work, understanding the laws around domains for websites, understanding how to build a website. And even then, like some people just struggle with using social media and posting regularly or
Mm.
editing videos. I know I forget his name, but the bloke from Riverside, he does bloody awesome videos and
Yeah,
like stuff
Ash.
like that. Yeah, Ash, that's it.
Yeah.
I know Ash does bloody good videos. So yeah, stuff like that. Some people don't have the skills, and there's plenty of detailing businesses that post like every 6 months.
Mm.
And some people look at it and go, he hasn't posted in a long time. He must be shut.
That's what he
So
said the other day. He said,
yeah,
because
yeah,
Ash posts all the time, he's very good at it. He hasn't posted, like, oh, he must be closed. So, but yeah,
yeah,
I had a chat with him about that, and I said, yeah, well, I know it's good to, because we might get him back on and we chat about social media side of things. Like there's guys that post every day stories, they're awesome at it.
yeah.
I barely post, but it's for the fact like most people sort of post to try and promote their work and probably generate work, but if some people are booked out that far ahead, they're not posting because we can't
Yeah.
do the work anyway, and I'm
Well,
very similar. So
it's a very funny thing talking about like the booking of work. There's such a big range. Like there are some guys that have been in business for 10 years and talking about struggling with bookings about 1 week and this and that. There's another guy locally, Matt Fisher from Glossworks Auto Detailing. Fantastic bloke. He's the one that sort of mentored me through a lot of the detailing as well with polishing.
mm,
Awesome guy. Anyone that's up in the tablelands, I always recommend them to him if they can't make the drive down. But even then, Matt only does certain things now. He's just that busy. He mainly does corrections and coatings. And I don't even know how many people are in Mariba. I think there might be 80,000, maybe 50,000 people that live there. And he's booked out till like the middle of this year. Like he's booked out months, and it's insane. Like it really goes down to show that it's about obviously knowing people, word of mouth, but advertising as well.
yep.
Advertising is such a big one. I think if someone's noticing a drop in numbers, there's a reason. It's not just always, oh, it's quiet. Nah, there's always a reason behind why there's a drop in numbers.
Mm.
Whether it be, oh, it's people are on holidays, it's holiday season, or it's school holidays, or people think maybe your account's just dead because you're not posting, or your lack of communication and getting calls back, or maybe there's a broken link with your website and people can't send inquiries. Even that happened to me not long ago. I was like, man, I haven't got email in a while. And I just tested it out, did some troubleshooting, and I noticed that the emails were going to a completely different place. And I was like, okay, well,
Oh wow.
I went through it and there was like bloody hundreds of emails. So I missed out on all those jobs, you know? So it's important to always keep on top of it. But obviously, if you're a one-man band like a lot of people are, you don't have that luxury either.
Mm.
So, and I'm really grateful, especially to have that staff that now I'm still on the tools,
I was
now
I
and
was going to
then.
ask that. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
are or not.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm definitely still working as much as I can with trying to balance everything. But I noticed in the past 6 months that if you go through all of our, I think we're almost 120 Google reviews now. 120 Google reviews in 2 years is we're the highest rated in Cairns now on Google, which is an awesome thing to achieve, especially under 2 years. And I worked really hard for it. I'd absolutely spam email and text people to leave a review. And as much as probably people think it's nagging, it works. It really does.
I was going to ask how you're getting them because it's
Yeah.
probably good for other people listening. If they are
Oh.
struggling, like, and then I think Google reviews too. Like, I know the guys in Adelaide and like in the big cities,
Mm.
that's what you sort of thrive your business on, and that's what
Yes.
generates a lot. And I
Absolutely.
think that has a fair bit to do with your a little bit of the SEO. Like, if you
Mm.
Google someone in your area, I think if they have the most Google reviews, I think they would come up near the top, I believe.
Yeah, it's usually top three. It depends on traffic and SEO and a couple other things here and there. But yeah, generally, if you're the highest rated, you're at least going to pop up top three regardless, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of Google reviews, there's a couple ways you can go around it. You can obviously ask the person to leave one there in person, or have like one of those little QR code things, and remind them. The best method I find is same day. Like sort of the best success I've had is same day as the service. End of the day, let's say 6, 7 o'clock. That's when people are home and they're relaxing, they're having dinner. Send the text through. Then I've just got a little copy and paste in my notes. And it just has a link straight to it. You don't want to just send something and say, hey, leave a review. Then they have to go out of their way. You want to make it as easy as possible. You want them click a link, leave a review, done. You don't want them typing in your name manually. It's extra time. People don't have that kind of patience, you know. You want it to
Convenient.
be easy. Yeah, you
Yep.
want it to be convenient and easy. The other one is I've been exploring with a little bit of a CRM called Urable. I know some people down
Yep.
south use it.
Yep.
I use Outlook and Xero just for bookings and invoicing and whatnot, but I know Urable is a good tool. I've been mucking around with it, and it's a lot of admin work, but it's definitely useful, especially if you've got staff. If you don't have staff, I wouldn't worry about Urable, but if you've got a good team, let's say more than two people or one person, it's definitely worth having a look at and seeing if it's for you. If you don't have much of a tech background, probably not great, but if you're good with computers, it's worth investing in. For example, if the boys go on a mobile job, instead of me texting them through the address and the agenda for the day, um, and having it all written up and spend my time doing it, it'll just be in the calendar. They open up the app and it shows them the client's name, the client's address, the package they booked in for, and even the cost of it. So if they need to take payment or take cash or whatever it may be, they know exactly the amount. They don't have to ring me. They don't have to do anything. It's all there. And it also, at the end of the detail, sends them a reminder to leave a review. So it's all that automation, and that's obviously being in a tech background, automation is key,
Mm.
100%. It always is. Um, and that's sort of where we're trying to go with sort of expanding the business and sort of keeping on top of things, especially with that.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good one straight after the job. That'd be quite handy because I've reached out before, like with the list of coding jobs, and then sort of done the link. And I was following up with them after about a month or every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I've gotten quite busy, so you sort of drop that off. But
Mm.
automation would help with that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The less time you need to do things, the better. And talking about having the boys on and being on the tools and whatnot, now that I'm booking in a lot more work and they're getting more efficient. I've had one staff member for almost a year and a half, and the other gentleman's been on for just over 6 months now. And he's slowly sort of progressing with the efficiency and understanding everything as well, which is good. But now that they're sort of up to that level where I can step back a bit, I can, do that admin work. I can really have good customer service again. All of our reviews talk about customer service always, trying to tailor people to the best package possible. If there's something we can't do, you get peeling clear coat. We're just open and honest. And through that, we don't just go, oh, sorry, mate, can't do it. We go, sorry, we can't do it. But here's a number of a really good spray painter that won't muck you around and he'll do a damn good price. We've heard of clients calling me back after they booked in with a client locally. His name's it's Scott Campbell from RM Refinishing. He's a bloody good bloke. He's a really good panel beater. And I've heard customers call me back and say, "Oh, when I mentioned your name, he knocked a couple $100 off." Like just those small connections that people are generally, nice to have. And even then, I've got a subcontractor that does tinting. So Sam from Executive Tints, fantastic guy. Any tinting stuff that comes through, we get him to come in the workshop. He can do it there in the showroom. And there's a interior repair guy as well. We use VP Repairs, coming from VP Repairs. He does any small jobs, whether it's a cigarette burn or some leather discoloration. So we've got a really great community and network in Cairns, even with other detailers in Cairns. There's a good culture up here.
Yeah, that's all I always ask that. What's the culture like in your area, which is always pretty good if you communicate or recommend other details if you are booked out. That's handy to have. Or get, if you don't, maybe find out and maybe get to know others in your area and
Yeah.
reach out and say, "Oh,
Oh,
might push you some work if I'm busy," or vice
absolutely. I
versa.
mean,
But
there's two ways to culture. I suppose there's a client side where I was talking about, it's only Land Cruisers really. We used when we started, we were doing lots of four-wheel drives, lots of red dirt cars, lots of Cape cars, people going bushwhacking and polishing out scratches and whatnot. But it's starting to shift away from that now that I've started changing my marketing strategy a little bit. We've got a professional photographer and videographer in Marcel. Is a great videographer. He's tagged on my Instagram now a couple of reels recently, and just sort of showing off some of the cars that come through and that we do take care of not only passenger cars and four-wheel drives, but we can also cater to your supercars and your sports cars and whatnot as well. Um, so it's always good to have that in terms of that culture rank and really understanding what people need. But the other side of the culture is obviously having that, how competitive is the market locally? You're always going to have that $50 car wash guy from,
Mhm.
Jim's car detailing And then you're going to have your private businesses like myself, where we're sort of mid-range. And then you're going to have your high-end, what do you call them? There's a specific name for the detailers. Like it's a different word for showroom. I forget the name. But your showroom detailers that are mainly dealing with $1 million cars, and they only do PPF and this and that. There's that high range where they only do that.
Yep.
And then there's the people, like I said, the mid-range people are usually people that are spread pretty wide, like myself. We do a range of different things. But the networking cans is fantastic. Even the lower guys will recommend the mid-range detailers. The mid-range detailers will still recommend the high guys, and everyone floats work back to each other. There's a few guys that people know aren't particularly great people, so we all sort of steer clear of them. But a lot of us are all mates. Another great guy, another good mentor locally is Eric from Luminous Car Detailing. He's great, knows a lot about polishing and paint work, and absolute genius when it comes to that sort of thing. He taught me a lot about polishing, and if I have any questions, I usually give Matt or Eric a call because they've been in the industry much longer. But it's nice to have that as well, and if I'm fully booked, I usually recommend them to people locally. I've got a few guys that I recommend mobile or workshop, and then if those people are fully booked, same thing to me. Or if people are moving away from doing maintenance details, they say, "Oh, go call Ryan from Tropix. He'll look after you. He's got a mobile team," and yada yada yada. So there's
Yep.
a really good culture of details in Cairns that all know each other, speak to each other, are all kind. And even then, I had Zach from Pyramid Shine Auto pop by yesterday and buy a snow foam cannon off me because most places are charging $80 or something for snow foam cannons locally. So I've got just a little retail showroom there, and ours are about $45. And it's got a little quick connect on it, and I mean it's exactly the same ones you see online, man. They're
Yep.
all everyone knows they come from China. So I thought, you know what, I don't want to rip people off. I'd rather have something locally and affordable. I think, geez, I ordered 5 of them and they arrived about a week ago. Like big stock come through, had 5 of them sitting there, and we're down to 1 already. Like people love seeing a good price, fair price, and we enjoy keeping people up. We're not gonna overcharge for things. And I know a lot of people sell special soaps for $100 or whatever, 500 ml and this and that. I don't think it's right. We've got
Mm.
a pretty good moral compass when it comes to that.
No, that's good that everyone's getting along up there, which is pretty cool. That's what I love
Yeah.
to hear. So, what's the sort of split with mobile to workshop at the moment now? Are you sort of more workshop now and just mobile out when they request it, or are you still
Um,
pushing both?
it's very mixed.
Yep.
I'd say it's pretty 50-50 if I'll just pull up my calendar and just give you an idea. So just to give you a rough idea, most of May, I've got a booking on every single day of May and pretty much all through the year, but those are reoccurring maintenance bookings.
Yep.
So when we were talking sort of before the podcast, we are talking
Mm.
about different types of jobs there are. So you've got your bread and butter stuff, your maintenance details, people coming in, your interiors and your pre-sales and whatnot. And then you've got the higher end, your PPF, your tint, your ceramic coating, your paint protection, yada yada yada. We do pretty much all of it. The only thing we don't do, like I said, PPF and tint. It's the only
Yep.
thing we don't really do. And obviously, some people do like PDR and stuff, but that's more specialized. Not a whole lot of people do that. Um, but our true bread and butter is contract work, whether it be local government or councils or anything like that, or just businesses. People forget that businesses have fleets of cars, and if you've got a good mobile setup where you're nice and efficient, and God forbid trying to do 10 cars or something locally for a government out of the back of a bloody Lexus coupe, that'd be awful. But when you've got a ute or a van or whatever it may be and everything's on reel, you really can do these cars quickly, especially because they're well maintained already. If you're doing them once a month, you're going to come into the same thing every time, and there's no guessing work. You're not going to think, oh, is this going to be a rude customer? What's their expectation? We all have those thoughts when we're detailing, oh, how picky are they going to be? Are they going to look at this scuff mark and ask me about it, even though it's not coming out? We've all had people like
Yeah.
that. But keeping on top of that, so yeah, it's really a 50-50 split. I always have someone in the workshop and I'll usually have one or two blokes on the road. Really depends on the day. If we've got a ceramic coating on, I'll usually have two blokes in the workshop and I'll have one bloke on the road because a lot of the maintenance stuff can be done by one person. It's usually, I mean, the maintenance vehicles, right? And the
Mm.
boys have the team has a set time on how fast they need to be completed, and they're all booked in at certain times. You need to be at the next site on the time, but they've got enough time to do that. And I usually account for about 30 minutes if a pressure washer breaks down or a bottle's not filled up. And but even then, a big thing that IT, especially I learned from tech, is redundancy. In IT, redundancy is a huge thing. You need to have backups of everything. It's backups, backups. And like we've got I was saying this to another detailer in Cairns the other day. We've got three or four pressure washers. We've got one in the workshop, one in the ute, and I've got two spares. I've got about six polishers ranging from 6 inch to 5 inch to 3 inch to even 1 and 2 inch. I've got heaps of power cables. I've got tons of spray bottles. I've got three or four tornadors, heaps of air tools. I've got two compressors, like backups of everything. So if something fails, I can still work. I'm
Yep.
not out of work. I don't need to go spend money that I don't necessarily need to. And that's a huge thing because if a pressure washer goes and you're a detailer, sure, you can go back to using a customer's hose, but it's not particularly great washing a bloody car with a hose.
Not a good look either. Yeah.
No, it's not a good look. That's right. But yeah, it's a good 50-50 split. And we've got two staff on at the moment. I'm possibly looking at a third. We've had a insane month this month. This month has been the busiest month we've ever had. Um, so if that stays consistent, I do want to get someone else on. That way we can really maintain and keep the ball rolling because growth is a huge thing. I don't necessarily, the point of a business is challenge. I don't want to get too comfortable, but other people say, you don't want to grow too big and this and that. But I think that's a part of business is pushing as hard as you can in growth until you hit that market cap where you hit a brick wall and go and fail and go, okay, that really is how far you can go. But I don't think anyone in Australia's hit that yet. I really don't. I
Mm.
think who's a bloke in Melbourne who's got like a storage unit of supercars? I forget his name. Really?
Is it auto something?
Auto attention.
Yep.
Yeah, auto attention. He's got a workshop that does PPF paint corrections, ceramic coating, everything. I think I'm not sure if he does tinting as well. He's even got a line of car covers and I think some products, and he now does vehicle storage as well. So people, there are people thinking outside the box with all that. So the market cap on what you can and can't do with detailing, I mean, is there one? Don't
Yeah,
think
no.
so. No, yeah, like I mean, realistically, this is big vision that maybe people have or haven't thought about. I mean, if you started your own car dealership and you're a detailer, you've already got the staff for detailers, get one of the detailers to learn how to tint. You can start offering proper ceramic coating with them. Sell a car, hey, while you're here, get tint, get paint protection. You buy a used car off someone that's got a big dent or scratch, hire someone that knows how to do PDR, or hire someone that knows how to do spray painting, have a separate spray booth. So you can really capitalize and monopolize on things as well. Even then, about 3-4 months ago, we ended up doing something similar. We ended up buying another local business. He was in his 50s and he was sort of done with detailing. He had been doing it for a long time. Just mobile maintenance stuff, similar to what our bread and butter is. And you can always do with more maintenance stuff to keep you busy if it does get quiet. So I had a chat to him. He was selling a van and some equipment, wasn't particularly interested in the equipment. But what I was interested in was clients. So I said to
Oh,
them, obviously you got this big list of clients that you go to every month. Gave him a price. We negotiated a price, and he was happy to go forward with it. Gave me the full details. The next coming weeks, I called all the clients on the contact list and booked them all in, and it gave me I think, an extra 60 cars a month. You know,
far out.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like small stuff like that. And I mean, if you price, look, I mean, if you can do the numbers in your head, if you price 60 cars at $100 each, if you're doing a maintenance detail or whatever you may charge, that's 6 grand.
Mm.
That's an extra $6,000 per month that is guaranteed. And it's very rare that we have people leave our maintenance program, because it's just convenient and it's good. I have people call up for a maintenance detail that want to book in, and they're a little bit upset that they have to wait 2 weeks. But it's because if you're booked in, then it's pre-booked every month and you never miss anything. That's why people love it, is because they're guaranteed a spot. They
Yep.
don't have to call anyone. They know I'm on top of it. They know they've got a scheduled booking, and they get reminders as well as a big thing. Some people don't send reminders.
Mm. Yeah, that's a big one.
Mm.
So,
So
how did you go with the fleet stuff? Are you still doing that? And how would, if people listening, how would they go about trying to get fleet stuff if they're looking for extra work? Did you reach out to them, or did they most of them chase you?
a bit of 50-50 really, hey. Um, so with some contracts, I'll just stick with the big ticket items first. So your councils and your local government, federal government, and even stuff like um, fire services, police, ambulance. People forget that these are really big companies or governments that have money and they're willing to pay.
Mm.
They're not overly concerned about price. They just want someone who's going to do a bloody job. And they often put up tenders. This is where you got to start thinking a little bit more corporate and business like. They put up tenders
Uh-huh.
for new businesses to come on board. So you got to look out for those tenders to come out, then you apply. It's what a lot of tradespeople do. And if you're a carpenter or you're a aircon guy or anything like that, any refrigeration sort of thing, you look for these tenders that come out. So councils and governments have a big list of vendors, but not many car detailing vendors.
Mm.
So there's very few people locally and even nationwide that are really doing anything with fleet work. Because most businesses have at least two cars, larger businesses. I think the largest fleet we have at the moment that we recently signed has 12 vehicles. Um,
That's a good number.
yeah, oh, very large fleet. But it's consistent work, We've always I tried a little bit of door-to-door salesman. I like to think I'm a half decent salesman. Um, but yeah, it's worth calling those companies. So at least even if they say no, gets the ball rolling, gets them thinking, oh,
Gets
maybe
them
we do.
thinking. Yep.
Yeah, maybe we do need detailing. Oh, geez, that ute's looking a bit crusty. Maybe it is a big appearance thing. Um, Sort of the biggest advice I can give anyone that's looking to get into fleet work is call and email and annoy real estate agencies. They love detailing. And that's not a bad thing. They really care about appearance. They're
Mm.
just like us. They care about appearance. So give them a call, go see them in person. You know, if it's an older business, I worked for a lot of older businessmen that had been in certain industries for years at a small business. Older business owners love when you come in and see them. They love talking. Go see them in person, shake their hand, say good day, leave a card. It's simple stuff like that, face-to-face business. And I do it the same way, If a client wants to meet me, I'm not going to do it over the phone. I'm going to give them the respect and drive over there and say good day. Cairns is fairly small. I have the luxury of doing that. If you're in Sydney, good luck.
Yeah, it might be a
But,
bit different.
but yeah, it obviously a bit different kind of thing. But yeah, it's worth making that call. A lot of the stuff we have got has been through inquiries, and referrals from other businesses. So obviously, once you start to build up that repertoire, that's when you can get some of the larger jobs. But even then, um, it can be a flow-on effect. You do, work for one business owner, he'll tell the next business owner, and the next business owner, and the next business owner, and that's how a lot of our work's coming in lately is word of mouth. But we have not slowed down on marketing. If anything, I'm putting more money into it, um, just to help grow and keep a variety of stuff. It's getting to the point now where if jobs come in that aren't particularly great, we have that luxury of saying no. You know, not you don't always have to say yes to every job, and that goes for any business. Some jobs are going to be stitch ups, and it may not be worth pursuing. So we've got that luxury now of saying no, especially stuff like caravans. We used to do caravans, but we no longer do caravans just because it's not us. My expertise and my team's expertise are not in caravans. They're in passenger vehicles and correction and coding and deep cleans of vehicles. We know vehicles better than anything. It's got an engine in it, it runs. Caravans are just a house on wheels. We're not necessarily house cleaners.
That was a funny one because I remember Jason, yeah, DeCarlo. He was on. I've had him on here before, and he was talking on Australian detailing professionals with Alex about they're into motorhomes and stuff now, and that's another area for them to branch out in rather than just do cars and supercars and Ferraris like
Yeah.
he does. So it's just another market, but he likes doing that. But then yeah, caravans are not for everyone, and they are quite big and yeah, it
Yeah.
is like inside
Oh,
is like a house. So
it's a huge, I mean, if you're into it, it's a huge market. I know Dustin Walker from System X Australia, he's got a lot of experience with caravans and even boats. He's a marine detailer, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
And he's knows a lot about it. And even then, you start to learn a bit more from him. And I don't know, for us, it just wasn't us. I know there's a lot of potential to obviously make good money and expand into it, especially if you're doing ceramic coatings on them. That's huge. But you need scaffolding, you need this and that. Like to do it properly, you really need a bit more equipment. It's not that we don't want to invest in the equipment. It's just not for us. It's like some people with doing interior cleans. I know some people hate doing interiors. Personally, I love them. I really enjoy. I mean, it probably sounds pretty psycho to enjoy doing dog hair, but genuinely, I enjoy, stripping seats out and doing dog hair. We've even had recently in Cairns, unfortunately, we had a few cyclones come through, typical Queensland kind of thing, but um, it started flooding real bad. We had, I don't even know how many mils of rain it was. It was like 400 mils or something.
Yep.
Some ridiculous number. Dams were overflown, floods everywhere. It destroyed homes, man. Like there's heaps of insurance claims going on. People's houses got wrecked. But I think we've done a total of like 10 or 20 flood cars come through.
Oh
And when it's
wow.
a flood car, um, most people at the time with the cost of living, people don't have insurance.
Mm.
So they can't write their car off. They got to keep driving this car on. And a lot of people called us, they just want the water gone, they want the smell gone. So come in, evaluate the car. A lot of them are Toyota Corollas or Kia Rios and stuff that isn't anything too bad. If it's a German car, probably look the other way, I wouldn't touch it. Heaps of electrics and things that go wrong. But your basic car's not too bad, your Land
Mm.
Cruisers and Tritons and stuff. So full seat strip, undo the center console, strip out the carpet. We found like 30 liters of water in someone's car not long ago underneath the carpet. Like really, really, really bad stuff, and they were wondering why it wasn't being sucked out through the carpet with a wet vac. It's like, well, there's bloody big puddles of it actually in the bottom of the shell, you
Oh
know.
wow.
So even extreme stuff like that, we don't mind doing it. And I enjoy it because you get to learn the inners of a car, and if it happens again, you know how to deal with it. And that's sort of why we wanted to take on that challenge. We've done a few vehicles that were really challenging. I think the most challenging vehicle we ever did, and my staff have nightmares about it, is we had a local hire company call us with a 10-ton tipper. I think it was an Isuzu something. They was used in mines up towards Weipa or somewhere in the Cape. Red dirt everywhere, everywhere. Booked it out 2 days, had all three of us on it. They wanted full seat shampoo, full interior detail, headliner shampoo, full correction and clean on the outside. But they didn't want the inside of the tipper done. They didn't want like the actual tip bit done. Oh, and the thing that made it hard was vinyl. There was
Uh,
vinyl wrap on it that was 10 years old. So it was all cracked, all buggered. Looked at it, quoted it. Definitely didn't quote enough. Um, no, I still made money on it, but oh, it was painful. But I like booking stuff in like that at least every quarter to really test us. That way we can look back if a job comes in, we can go, "Psh, this is easy compared to, that bloody 10-ton tipper we did.
mm.
Um, but I think in total we spent close to 20 hours on that vehicle. across three people is ridiculous. That's insane. I personally spent 9.5 hours scraping vinyl off that thing because it wasn't as simple as heating it up with a steamer or a heat gun and then just pulling it off. You had to heat it up and scrape away at it with a plastic blade.
It'd
So
been on there for too long.
yeah, too on there for too long, and being up in the Cape, the sun just bakes it on. Um, Customers' expectation went through the roof, but they were so happy. Like to go, I think we've got photos on our Instagram somewhere of it. I couldn't do the vinyl removal because the company wanted to stay confidential. But the vinyl removal, I wish I could post photos of it. Like it's insane. But they let us take photos of the inside and whatnot, which is really nice of them. But and it was the worst thing is it was mobile.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, so we had to do that one mobile. Fortunately, it wasn't in the sun. If it was in the sun, probably would have said no to the job. But yeah, 20 hours on that. It was just red dirt everywhere. By the end of it, we were just all our uniforms just covered in red dirt. Go home, red dirt in your bloody work boots and on your skin. And oh man, it was pretty rough. Towards the end, we were all starting to get pretty tired. But once we hit it and hit the mark, and the client was happy, and obviously they paid their bills and whatnot, everyone was so relieved. And like every other job felt so easy compared to that. So it's nice to do those hard stuff, because then you remember how good you have it, you
Mm.
know. Especially with if you do a new car paint protection, you have those used cars come through sometimes, and it looks like somebody's washed it with a bloody brick, and you're like, yeah, righto. And then you spend, 10 hours correcting it and getting it looking sweet. And then the next day you have a brand new car come in and it's got like a couple swirl marks and that's it. You know,
Yep.
it's always good to stay grateful with the easy and hard jobs.
Sort of brings you back a little bit from where you begin and go, oh,
Mm.
this is what I used to do back in the day. This is what I started. And it's good to get a sort of
Oh,
flashback into
absolutely.
where it all began and how it
Mm.
was, how it
Yeah.
started. So,
Oh, absolutely.
how did you go with the ceramic coating side of things? Did you and what are you using? Did you research any before you found what you're using, or have you?
Yeah, we've done our research, and there's been a lot of people that have helped us on the way along with it. Um, how we initially got into it was Eric from Luminous Car Detailing locally. He was using G-Technic. He has used CarPro C Quartz, and I think he used some awesome stuff as well. And he likes G-Technic. It works. It's a big brand. A lot of people know it. It's got decent company awareness. um, and that's something a lot of people want. So he sort of taught us how to code on that locally after corrections and whatnot. Got a good idea from it. Then we reached out to Phil Ward, managing director of G-Technic Australia here, had a chat with him, and then later got accredited through G-Technic, which is very fortunate. So we're currently sticking with G-Technic, and I know everyone's out to get G-Technic and all the rest. And I won't sit here and openly say that they're the best thing in the world. I don't think any ceramic coating is the best in the world. I think it's very objective to
Mm.
what they can and can't do. You've got self-healing coatings out there. Some people think those are the best, but someone explained this to me a little while ago with self-healing coatings, and this may help someone's decision to move towards them or move away from. There's no doubt that self-healing coatings work, but what someone said to me is, obviously heat removes the scratches, right? You pour boiling water, it removes the scratches, similar to PPF. What if the panel's already hot when you scratch it? Does the scratch go away, or does it stay?
Interesting.
And yeah, a lot of people are saying if the panel's hot enough, you leave it out in the sun, someone brushes up against it and scratches it, or a dog jumps on it, um, the scratch is actually stuck in it because it's the heat sort of caused the scratch to go through the ceramic. But as long as you educate the customer and let them know, I think that's the biggest thing with coatings. There's a lot of misunderstanding, especially with dealerships, about what they sell, and people view this paint protection as a gimmick and this and that. But as long as you explain the advantages and you're honest, I know a lot of people that sell ceramics as some miracle potion that keeps their car everlasting and great. But
Snake oil.
as
It's
yeah,
bulletproof.
that's it. As detailers know, it's not bulletproof. I wish it would. You're going to have better luck with some. If it's a German car, it'll generally look good. We've got a customer with an Audi S5, good old Scotty, lovely customer. I love him. Um, and his car's brilliant. There's like maybe one or two scratches in very inconspicuous spots, and they're light scratches. You have to look at it in the sun to actually see it, and the whole car's flawless. And the car's coated like 3, 4 years ago by another detailer locally with G Technic. you know.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, we got into it through Eric. He's the one that taught us how to install it and whatnot, and been going pretty good. Haven't had any issues with it, no warranty claims or anything, which is always good. And Phil's very good to work with from G Technic Australia. But I think maybe in the future we might explore into other brands and products. System X from Dustin Walker's the director there. We were definitely interested in that and heard a lot of good things about it. Matt from Glossworks up at Mariba, he uses System X and he's sort of the one that got me onto it. But obviously you need to explore and make your own decision. You can't just look at a detailing group on Facebook and listen to what everyone else says. You need to make your own decisions and go, yep, this is right for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. So how does that go with, because obviously other guys using, I think it's Eric, you said that he's using G Technic too, so you're both using G Tech in the
Yeah,
same,
we
in Cairns.
there's
So is there much sort of hassle with pricing,
nah,
like
nah, me and Eric,
undercutting? Yep.
me and Eric have a pretty close understanding of like anything. There are certain jobs he'll do that I won't do. He'll do orange peel removal and sort of a lot more in-depth kind of stuff like that. He coats caravans and stuff too. So if you want a caravan coater, go to him. Don't ring me.
Yeah.
I'll refer you to Eric, so you better off just calling him directly. But there are certain things we won't touch because it's a little bit too far for us. Orange peel removal and stuff, they want that and they want it coated. Um, but in terms of pricing, nah, everyone's pretty well priced up here. Everyone's pretty bang on the mark. There are some cheaper guys, but as the old saying goes, if you price yourself cheap enough, you'll be out of business soon enough. So,
Mm,
um, yeah, no, everyone's pretty well priced. Like, there's honestly competition wise, what it comes down to is who's available the soonest, really.
yep.
And that's obviously a demand thing and staffing issue and time management as well as how much can you get done a day and how busy are you and whatnot. But yeah, no, I mean, well, if Eric had an issue with it, he wouldn't have taught me how to do it.
Exactly.
But nah, we're good mates, and if he's waiting, if someone books in last minute for a ceramic and he needs ceramic, he knows he can give me a ring and I'll have stuff on hand or so on and so forth. If he drops a bottle and smashes or something, he can give me a ring and I've got some. So no, absolutely nothing like that, man. We're all mates in Cairns, and there's I always say this to everyone. There's enough cars in your city for everyone.
100%.
Absolutely no reason to be doing $500 ceramic coatings. No
Mm,
reason.
nope.
Otherwise, if you're doing that, let's be honest, you're bloody washing the car and coating it. You're not doing any sort of correction.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
probably another one I've seen lately, heavily discounting your coatings, like having a
yeah.
discount at the moment. I've always heard that probably maybe don't discount it and maybe throw in some extras like
Hmm. Yeah.
interior coating or wheel coating, maybe not underprice your main job.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe
listen,
do a percentage for a start, but
yeah.
heavily discount it, it sort of probably makes the whole coding process maybe go, oh, if they can do whatever percentage off extremely,
Hmm.
what am I? There's obviously a huge
Yeah.
markup, but yeah, maybe do
Yeah.
some add-ons rather than
Oh,
discounting the
yeah.
actual coding
I
job.
think like listen, maybe 20%, 15% max if
Yep.
it's a new vehicle. I wouldn't do 20, 15% on a used vehicle at all. Absolutely not. Because we all know I mean, generally speaking, used vehicles are more work, especially if they call up and they go, "Oh, hey mate, I got a 2021 Tesla and it's black," and we all just start running because we we all know if you worked on a black Tesla, they're not the greatest things to work on. They're good cars, but the paint is it's just hard to work with. It's really soft and malleable and yeah, just prone to defects really.
Yep.
Seen some pretty interesting paint jobs come through, that's for sure. Um but yeah, no, it's just one of those things, you got to price it right and whatnot. But it comes down to skill as well.
Mm.
You're always going to have that guy that's pricing their coatings at $800. Then you're going to have someone mid-range at 1500. Um, and locally there is someone that's they supply Modesta, and I think their coatings start at two and a half. But in saying that, I understand Modesta is a more expensive coating to actually purchase. That's what all you got to account for as well, is how much actually is the product, how is it applied, and how long does it last?
It's a lot of prep, I believe, in Modesta and the coating and stuff like that, and curing time as well. So I think that's where that's more
Yeah,
more
you've
time
got
consuming.
the infrared lights and this. I personally never looked into it, but yeah, infrared lights. I think it's a lot of prep just for maybe the same result, you know? Like if in context, a lot of the coatings on the market, they're all white label. They're all the same stuff. You look at the SDS online, you look at the safety data sheet, and the ingredients listed will say, confidential formula or something something formula, and they won't actually tell you what's in it because it's the same as everyone else's. Like you can pretty much smell it when you open up the bloody bottle. Um, like a lot of them are the same. It's a name and marketing thing. At the moment, market leaders are generally going to be the people that have the best marketing and are most well known, and
Yep,
have been around the block and been around for a while. And that's why I like G-Technic is they've got a good product. They've got a good line of stuff. Most people know who G-Technic is if they've done their research. Um, I mean, for me, in my opinion, sort of the top three well-known ones are System X, G-Technic, and Modesta. As far as Queensland goes,
yep,
in my sort of local area, I don't know what it's like. I know there's a Fenland Lab or whatever
FenLab.
it's called, and yeah, FenLab and Kraken Coatings and stuff like that. Or and then Titan. Titan's another big one actually. Haven't mentioned them. There's someone doing
Yep,
them locally for a bit, and Gion. Gion does them too. A
yep.
few people doing Gion coatings. I quite like some of the Gion stuff actually. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm an installer, so
There you go.
call me biased, but yes, they suit for what I do. So everyone pays me out about Geon, but it's sort of what I've started and what I've stuck to and what you know, and
Hmm.
you just don't get lost in anything else. And that's it works for me, it works for the customers, so
Yeah, well,
it is what it
that's the
is.
thing. If it's broken, don't fix it.
Yeah,
It's a big risk going from one thing to another. Prior to doing anything, if it's a new service or a coating, I always put it on a personal vehicle first. I just muck around with my own stuff. Um, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, oh well, spend a bit of money and learn a lesson, you know?
yep. Yeah, I have a customer's car that was coated in FenLab, and I do the maintenance on that every 6 months, and
Yeah.
that coating's immaculate. It's awesome. So yeah, that it's just what I've always done and what I've used, so I just stick to
Yeah.
it. And yeah,
Is the what's the gear and pricing like? Is it not too bad? Probably like $200 max if it's a longer coating or
for a kit,
oh, just do they do it in a kit or they do it like they just send you the coating?
yeah, you get a little the box with it all, and
Oh
then
yeah.
but yeah, we're charging probably 1650 plus GST for
Okay.
for their Infinite. So
How
but
long's
yeah,
the Infinite? It's like 9, 10 years.
5 years
Okay.
and
Sweet.
7 years with the top coat. So
Sweet.
yeah, so but
Oh,
I'm more.
it's a multi-level, is it? You do one and then you do
You
two,
can do,
for instance.
yeah. I'm one of the ones that just loves doing the single coat. So, and then
Oh,
we bring them back in
trust
for the
me,
top coat.
that's why we love doing G-Technic is they've got their 9 years, which is just the single layer. Obviously there's a lot of argument if it does last 9 years, but not a lot of us have been around in business for 9 years, so we can't really have an opinion on it. As far as I'm aware, you can do all your research and whatnot, but until there's someone that's been using G-Technic and has their car for 9 years and has maintained it properly for 9 years, none of us will actually really know, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's always a hard one, that the durability, as we call it. Like,
Mm.
yeah, or the lifespan of it.
Yeah.
It's always a hard one, and they
Mm.
say not to probably sell too hard on the durability, but yeah.
No,
So,
not
but
not at all. I
use it as
mean,
a guide at least.
yeah, that's what I always say is use it as a guide and be honest with the customer. Let them know that 9 years is, you're probably talking, you've got it garaged all the time, you've got a detailer looking after it. And that's pretty hard to do consistently for 9 years. Like that
Yeah,
is very hard to do. If you're not going to have an accident or scuffs or scrapes, it's always going to stay in the garage, or someone starts bloody using a grinder near your car and gets sparks on it. You really never know.
yeah, and not. I wouldn't say that many people have a car for 9 years these days now. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big selling point is we noticed that there's obviously a lot more 5 years. And part of my selling point, It's probably counterintuitive to tell people that, one of my questions is, how long do you have the car for?
Mm.
And they say, oh, it's on a lease. And I go, bang, all right, they want 5 years. They're not going to want 9 years. I don't even bother talking about the 9 years,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
good.
Yeah.
How is the market up there at the moment? I know everyone's talking about cost of living and stuff. Is there still people flowing in? Obviously, they're still getting their maintenance because we think about detailing a car is probably the first thing to go. One of the first things to go if they're regularly getting it done, they'll just take it through the drive-through car wash instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say it's slowed down, mate. If anything, it's bloody speeding up. There's obviously a lot of talk amongst detailing networks about cost of living and, yeah, work going down. But I mean, this is humbly my opinion, but I think slowdown of work in any economy comes down to how you're running a business. If there's a slowdown of work, look into why it's slowing down. Don't just throw your hands, oh, cost of living, this. Nah, have a look why. Figure out why. Look at your Google Analytics. Why are those going down? Look at your Google ads. Look at your Facebook ads. Is there something wrong with it? Does it need to be updated? If you've had a Facebook ad running for too long and it's been running for a year and it's got the same bloody photos from last year of some bodgy car you were doing, then update it. Let people know that you're doing nice cars and you've got a new workshop or you're doing new services. Keep people in the loop. We're massive on advertising. Like our budget per month for advertising, and this may shock a lot of people, but our budget for advertising is 1,500 to 2 grand a month. But your return on investment on that is incredible.
Mm,
And people are scared. I mean, obviously, cost of living and whatnot, people are scared to spend money. Um, if you're not going to spend that kind of money and explore, then you're not going to find out. Obviously, some people don't understand Google Ads and algorithms and whatnot, and need marketing agencies. Fair enough, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But if you've got those skills to do that self-teaching, um, you can you can just jump on it straight away and learn how to do it. I'm self-taught with pretty much everything in the business. The only thing that I haven't done that I had to outsource was accounting. I don't have a CPA, so otherwise I probably would. But all the bookkeeping and whatnot, all self-taught, all the marketing, the website, even the detailing, a lot of that was self-taught, minus the paint correction stuff. Um, just reading through forums and seeing what other people are doing, asking questions. I think people are just scared to make friends as well. Like if I had a question, and the way I met some of the local detailers is we connected because we're business owners. We just had a yarn. We
mm.
met up for coffee and talked about what we're doing. Hey man, have you found any new products you like? Oh yeah, I started using, Stark, shameless plug because we sell it, but Stark Venom. We were using Stark Venom water spot remover, and it's great. You don't have to polish a car. You can remove water spots and whatnot. And even then, like on the detailing enthusiast page on Facebook, I ramble on about that bloody still vacuum and whatnot, and people hate it. But I personally like it. But even the Stark Venom, everyone I've seen use it loves it. It's pretty pricey, but it's a phosphoric acid mix, and it's bloody brilliant. It really is.
It
It's
actually
surprising to
works.
see. Yeah, it actually works. You can use it to strip wash, or you can use it to remove water spots, and it saves you the hassle of polishing windows and or paint. So obviously it won't remove stuff that's gone through the clear or it's deeper, but it removes the minerals.
Yeah.
If they're new water spots, it'll remove the minerals.
How do you go with your mobile side of things? Do they work? Do they start early and finish early, or
Um,
with the weather up there?
yeah, it really depends weather-wise. I always, depending on the booking, my first three questions when we're doing a quote, if it's mobile, is do you have access to power and water, and do you have an undercover space, and obviously where are you located as well. If they say they don't have an undercover space, spikes a flag in my mind. My next question to them is, are you open to bringing it in the workshop? If they're close to the workshop and I know that it's wet season, I will say to them, are you happy for me to do a concierge service free of charge where we collect the car and bring it into the workshop? And if it's only a 5 minute drive, staff drop me off, pick up the car, bring it back in, do the detail there, take it back to them. You know, saves us if it's raining. Saves the boys out in the rain, getting wet or having to cancel a job and lose money,
Oh, that's
you know.
pretty cool.
But in terms of start finish times, it's a mix. The earliest start we ever had was 6 in the morning, but that client was pushed forward because they didn't actually want to get up at 6 in the morning anymore. So we moved that one forward to about 7. So the earliest job the boys do is about 7 in the morning on the road, but generally speaking, workshops open at about 8:30 and move on there. Another big thing, like it comes down to redundancy in bookings, and this might help other detail workshop owners. A Dropbox. Have a hidden Dropbox somewhere for someone to put their keys if they're dropping it off early. I have a lot of people call that tradies, and they say, "When are you open?" And I say 8:30. Oh, I can't drop it off. I say, "You can." I said, "We got a Dropbox out the back. You can drop the keys in there, leave the car there, and when we come in at 8:30, I'll drop it in." Usually, I mean, I'm up at 4 in the morning every morning anyway, travel to gym and whatnot in the morning, get that sorted. But they drop it off there. I'm usually around the workshop. The gym's close to the workshop, so cruise in there, bring the car in early if they do drop it off early, so it's nice and safe and the keys aren't out, outside. But
No,
it's a
that's
low, yeah. So it's a good thing to have that sort of thing. And if you do really want to book them in, you don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning to go collect the keys.
yeah, that's always a good one. So, no, nice. What's the plans going forward with your business? Any plans of bigger shop or just stay where you are and
Mate, always need to have a plan and a vision, eh?
yeah,
Yeah, there's probably the biggest topic to sort of expand on actually is obviously starting from a little coupe with a cordless vacuum and then working my way up to where we are now. I've always got more things in mind. Um, PPF, I'd love to at least start doing PPF, even if it's small jobs, putting things on touch screens or, doing bush wraps or something, just getting my foot in the door with it. Bush wraps is a pretty big, well, I don't know how big it is up here, but I've been told it is semi-big. Doing bush wraps installs for PPF and whatnot. I don't know how big the market is up here. PPF has a really short lifespan in Queensland because of the sun.
yep,
So, and people aren't really keen on paying 6+ grand to get their car full PPF'd and then have to do it 3 years later. Yeah, that's a lot of bloody money to do. And obviously people can argue about PPF quality and how long it lasts and this brand is this yeah. I mean, not many places are tested in Queensland. So,
that's a
you
good
know,
point. Yeah, like
it's
it's
it's all very
it's
different.
pretty much a different climate up there, isn't it?
Hmm.
Especially probably you calm down from the hot weather, or is it? What's
Yeah,
it like now? It's
it's
wouldn't be too
not
bad.
too bad. Yeah, I mean, the way we usually tell if it's hot is how quick coatings are flashing. So, but no, it's not too bad at the moment. It's really starting to cool down. One of my staff come into work with a jumper on. I sort of looked at him a little bit weird, but obviously some people are starting to get a bit cold. But yeah, PPF. Like I said, I do have a subcontractor that does tinting, but he mainly does house tinting. He doesn't like he does tint cars, but obviously it's not his forte. He doesn't like it as much. There's a little bit more money in that. And he's a solo guy, so if he can maximize his profits doing houses, he doesn't want to spend time doing cars. So,
Mm,
but I'd love to at least get my boys in training and do PPF or tinting, and obviously learn myself as well to have that skill there to teach other people how to do it.
yep,
No plan date on that. It's more just as we go and we get a little bit busier. And ultimately, the idea is to have someone, at least one or two people, train in PPF or tint. So when I get a third staff member, I can rotate them as to who's doing tint and PPF. So if the PPF guy is sick, once again redundancy. If PPF guy is sick, I've got some backup that can do it. You
yep.
know. Um, Aside from that, sorry, my throat's getting a bit dry. I might go get a little bit of water here.
You're right.
Um, sorry. Other than that, I'd say for mobile detailing, we want to upgrade the ute a little bit more. I mean, most people would look at it and it's a dream setup, but for me, anything and everything can always be improved. The main thing that's sort of slowing us down for efficiency is the manual power washer reel. That's just like manually hand wound. I want to get a retractable one, but you're looking at 1,500 bloody dollars.
Oh, really?
About yeah. Well, I mean, I unless anyone can find anything and reach out to me and let me know if you're a pressure washer company that has a good retractable reel, reach out to me, man, because I want to find one. I want to buy one. I just can't justify a grand to 1,500 for a retractable reel yet. I
Yeah.
probably will in the future, but right now, not particularly. And if I do upgrade, I'll probably put the manual reel in the workshop. And that, reusing equipment, I don't want to just take equipment off the roster and not use it. So
Mm.
even stuff like a retractable power reel, trying to find one of those is bloody impossible. A good one anyway. We tried using the Jamek one from Sydney Tools. It was decent for like 3 months, and
Yep.
then it broke.
Oh, yeah, right.
Um, still more to go. Just workshop wise, I'd love to tidy up the showroom and the reception area. There's just some small nitpicky things, just paint wise and filling in gaps and just prettying it up. Maybe get a mural or something in. Um, I want to get a larger retail space just so we can sell a little bit more. Retail sales are pretty good. We've got a couple streams of income in terms of detailing. Like I said, we've got the ceramic coating, the fleet, the interior detail, most recently retail. Started
What are
selling
you selling there? Yeah.
obviously just some G-Technic stuff and then snow foam cannons and drying towels and wash mitts, stuff that coincides with the detailing we're doing. So if we do a ceramic coating, when they come to pay, obviously, it comes down to how good of a salesperson are you. I
Mm.
think for the past 6 ceramic coatings we've done, only one customer didn't buy something.
Oh, that's good.
So it's always, even if it's an extra $50 or extra $90 over the course of a year, it really adds up to, a couple $1,000. And that extra $1,000, hey, it can get used on that retractable pressure reel.
Yeah.
It all can go somewhere, even if it goes toward, groceries for the boys and keeping them happy and whatnot. Um, as well as if you've got staff, selling products can be a commission motivation. I know locally there's my barber actually does all my haircuts and whatnot. He sells products and whatnot. And he was saying he started putting commissions on for staff for selling products. And he reckons one of his staff members sold 116 hair gels and hairsprays and stuff in 1 month. You know, that's insane. That's what I mean. Like, if you put it out there that there's a money reward and you put commission on it, people will, if they really want to make money, they'll do it. But even then, like, I'd stocked up on like 15 drying towels in the past like 2 weeks, and we're down to like two.
Yep.
Like, people, and then obviously people will let other people know that you got products, and I think part of me, the reason we wanted to open retail is because we have a lot of customers ask us, what should we use on our vehicle? And it's
Mm.
not ceramic coating related, it's even just cleaning their vehicle. And one thing we always hear is they hate going into automotive stores um, and buying crap that doesn't work. So I want to be able to give products to customers that we use in the workshop professionally and we know that work and educate them on how to use it, when to use it, so they don't have to waste their money, as opposed to going out and spending $60 on like 4 products that didn't work. You can come in, pay $20, got the right product from the get-go,
Mm.
you
Yep.
know. But aside from all the cosmetic sort of touch-ups and whatnot, um, we've got two parts to the workshop. We've got our showroom and reception. Then we've got the actual workshop, which is mainly in our wash bay and interior. Um, so I'd love to get some of the, Swiss Trax flooring in there, make it more neat, and paint all the walls and whatnot, and do some proper waterproofing and sealing and whatnot, and just make it a bit more prettier because it gets dirty very easy, as you can imagine. I had
Yeah.
my motorbike in there for like 6 months and hadn't ridden it, and just covered in dust. We washed it like the other day and then stuck it there in 2 days. It was the same condition, like dusty. So it gets really dusty in there, but obviously we're blowing stuff out of cars all the time with tornadors and whatnot, and it's going everywhere. But just making that area look more presentable and having better lighting too helps a ton with interiors. We're using headlights and whatnot um, when we're doing interiors to make sure we never miss anything. I think far too many people are doing interiors without like proper lighting, and it's
Mm.
probably why they miss stuff and have to go back over it. But if you do it right the first time, you don't have to go back over it.
Yep. Lighting's massive even. Yeah, like I use the headlamp.
Mm.
Interiors, I was using headlamp for polishing. Now I've got some new lights which just
Yeah.
got put in the other week, so that's part of me
What
upgrade. So
sort of What sort of lights were they? They just like regular.
They're 1200 by 300 panel lights, so
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much like what everyone else has got these days, but looks like a spray booth now. So
Oh, okay. You're not talking about like the direct correction lights. It's more like the
yeah, they're along
display
the
lights.
wall. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I've got lights up above and down lights and stuff. So lighting's yeah massive, but yeah, I always was running a headlamp, so I'm yet to test them out without the headlamp now, and we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Sweet.
um, so yeah, another one I would mention, like we've been a reseller for the cover shop car covers. They're
Hmm.
actually a good another side thing. So we offer
I might
them.
take I might take note of that actually. That's a pretty good point. Car covers. Yeah, right.
Yep, they're unbelievable.
Oh,
I become a reseller after I bought them. Like I bought one for my bike, one for my car, and then yeah, learnt
well,
that
do you find I'm not sure what the weather like's where you're there, but I can't imagine it's too much humidity. Do you find that the car covers scratch the cars much?
nah, nah,
No.
they're a good, they're breathable and they're washable and they're for inside only. Um, but you can get them in all range of colours and you can even get your logo on them. We've got our business logo on the front of one of them, and we've had people get like HSV and Ford or whatever on them. But yeah, to be a reseller for them is actually another good part of our sort of retail side. We've got the auto fiber dreadnought towers. We've got and then our bucket kits and stuff, and our range of Geon products. So it's yeah,
Hmm. Sweet
just
as, yeah.
little bits
I've
and pieces to.
taken note of that one. I actually quite like the car cover
Mm.
one. But yeah, we just sell sort of, obviously your soaps and whatnot. I want to find a good bucket supplier, someone that sells buckets. I can't find someone, a Chinese supplier. Everyone buys the stuff from China. I can't find a good Chinese supplier that's not asking thousands of dollars of bloody shipping.
I
So,
might be able to help you out with that. I've got a storage in my roof is chockers full of buckets, and
oh,
they come.
sweet.
They are in. We got them from Melbourne or Adelaide somewhere. I'll have to find out, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Oh, that's
decent
sort
too.
of.
Like they're solid. That's sort of what we had dramas with too, trying to find buckets. So
Oh, that's it. I know Bunnings has got their own, but obviously if you buy locally, then you got to put a silly markup on it, and people aren't too happy paying $100 for a bucket.
no,
No one wants to do
no.
that. So, but yeah, I think even stuff like that, we got brushes and whatnot. We haven't really had too many massive detailing enthusiasts come through, but we want to offer, just a little bit more than like your normal automotive stores. If someone's really a detailing enthusiast, we want them to come through and pick up professional tools and anything like that. And if they want a good snow foam cannon that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and we know is bulletproof. I mean, I've dropped this snow foam cannon off like a bloody 18-foot caravan off the roof and it hasn't broken. So in
That's good.
saying that, I'm sure if you slam it hard enough on concrete, it will, but would probably wouldn't try that.
No,
But
it's good. No, there's
yeah.
all sorts of little side things as revenue streams. So
Hmm.
that's good. So we might jump in the 6 stage questions
Yeah.
right while we're going. So can you remember your first ever detailing job?
Yeah, one of those nightmare jobs once again. Surprisingly, it was actually a massive job. I think one of the first jobs we did, I say we because it was actually me and a mate who was giving me a hand because it was a big job, didn't want to do it solo. Out of anything, it was a caravan. Of course. So from the get-go, just cursed my caravans. Um, yeah, it was one with a cab on the front, so it was technically a motorhome. They wanted just a inside and out. They didn't want the back done. They just wanted the cab. Cab, wipe down, brush, vacuum. Outside wise, they were getting it ready for sale. Good wash, take some photos, polish up exhaust tips and whatnot, and see what we could do. Um, Being the first caravan we did and just having like absolutely no tools or anything, like the little Karcher pressure wash we had maybe had 5 meters worth of cable and the thing was like 24 feet. So we had to like keep moving it as we were moving along and detailing the thing, but we had to adapt and go, all right, we'll do like 5 meters at a time, like do a couple meters of the caravan at a time, washing it. And then we didn't have space. I mean, I can't fit a ladder in my Lexus. So I had to ask the customer nicely for a ladder. I had a ladder, get up on the roof and do that one, and then didn't have enough power cables, so I had to ask customer for power cables too. Didn't have enough hose, so I had to get a double adapter from Bunnings and connect the customer's hose to our hose and make it reach. Oh, it's just a big nightmare, big job. Took us 7.5, 8 hours, and just from there, it really made me question. I'm like, am I really
What am I
gonna do
doing?
detailing? Like, is this really worth it? Obviously, I chucked some. It was a cash job, so that was nice. But I threw some money my mate's way. Thanks for coming along and suffering with me. But I think what inspired me to keep going was the amount of money that you could make in a single day's work as well. And then I started to expand from there. And obviously, you start sitting down, and I'm sure everyone does this. You bring out the calculator and you type in how much you earn that day. Then you times it by 5, and then you times it by 52. And then you're like, wow, that's how much money I can make a year. And you
Mm.
sort of get an idea. But yeah, not a particularly, good job. But it sort of gave me that grit from the get-go of the hard jobs.
Oh, that's good. And now you don't do caravans anymore.
Yep.
No wonder. Favorite polisher?
Um, oh God, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one. Um, Mac Pro from Repco, honestly, for
True.
like 169 bucks. And excuse my language, but it shits on everything else. It really does. Um, I've tried ShineMate, I've tried Rupes, I've tried some of the Flex stuff. Listen, if you're gonna spend money, I'd go Flex. ShineMate's good. ShineMate's a good mid-range product, but
Yep.
for what your money's worth and the cost of living, like Mac Pro, I've had two 6 inches and I've had two of the 5 inches. 5 inches are still going strong after 2 years. And like we do a lot of volume. I'm talking I mean now we're maybe doing 20 corrections a month of that's polishers running at
Full time.
least, yeah, full time pretty much, going every day of the bloody week. So we use them a lot, and if their brushes are still good, like I had a Rupes for a bit, and the brushes went in that in 6 months.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's just, and all sorts of issues with them. Um, the Mac Pro costs 169 bucks. I'd forget how much Shine Mates cost. It's like what, $300-$400,
They're
something
quite
like that.
popular though. Like a lot of
Yeah,
details out there are using them, and yeah,
yeah. Oh, it's a good, well, local Australian brand in quotation marks, but um, they're good. Like if you're looking to spend a bit of money and yeah, you want it to look cool in your workshop, then Shine Mate's cool. I'd stay away from Rupes. If you got the money for a flex, bloody go for it. But that's corded polishers. I want to move to
cool.
cordless,
Yep.
but I'm probably a lot of people said to stay away from the Shine Mate. Some people say they love it. Other people say go flex. Other people say nah, Milwaukee's the way to go. From
Mm.
what I've seen, and what I know locally, what I've been told from other people's experiences in comparison, the Milwaukee with the high output batteries just is great.
Yep.
Apparently, it's bloody fantastic. So I'd love to eventually get one of those, but you're looking at probably close to $800 to $1,000 or something in total for one of them. But once again, not quite feasible for the setup we've got. But yeah, it probably cuts down on efficiency, but you got to buy a whole lot of batteries, and having staff, you got to remember to tell them to put the batteries on charge and everything else like
Have
that. So
them
there's
charged up. Yep.
yeah, a lot more than just buying it and being good from the get go. But yeah, I'm a big, I wish I could sell Mac Pro to be honest, but it's a good product. The 5 and the 6 inch, they generate enough heat. They're good to hold. The 5 inch one from Mac Pro is ridiculously light. Like you can one hand polish a car.
Wow.
Really, it doesn't vibrate your hand off. Really good. The Rupes vibrates too much. I don't like it. Tri-Mate's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. For the price you get, yeah, just go down to Repco, get yourself a Mac Pro 5 and 6 inch. 3 inch wise, I do have a Shine Mate cordless. I do like that. That's cool. It's just really bloody heavy for no reason. It really is. Obviously, it's a battery, but yeah, just too heavy for me.
I'm just looking at the Mac Pros now. Yeah, 140 each for the
There you go,
The
mate. Look at that.
5 inch.
Bloody bargain. And I tell you what, it'll do the same job as any other polisher.
I've never heard of it, so that's
Yeah,
cool to see.
no. Once again, someone locally, Mr. Eric from Luminous Car Detailing, he's the one that got me onto it. I saw him using it and I made fun of him for it. I said, "What are you doing, mate?" I said, "What do you got this Repco crap in here for?" And he was like, "Nah, man, have a go." And he let me use the 5-inch polisher on a car. And I was like, "This is so light. It's so
Mm.
smooth." I was like, "How much is this thing?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like 140, 160 bucks." And that day went in, grabbed two. I was like, "No, I need 6-inch, I need 5-inch." And funnily enough, my staff actually refuse to use the Shine Mate.
Oh
They
yeah.
don't like it. They don't like the Shine Mate 6-inch. I've had a 5-inch and a 6-inch. I bought the 6-inch because Repco stopped selling the 6-inches for a bit, so I had no choice. But they started reselling them again now, which is good. But yeah, they just every time we're polishing a car, they grab that one first.
Oh,
And
that's
I said
good.
to them, yeah, I said to them, "What's wrong with the Shine, mate?" "Oh, I just don't like it." I said, "Fair enough."
Do they do brushes, or have you had to replace them, or in the Mech Pros, or are you just going by the
Nah,
old?
just in all honesty, you can just, if it breaks within the 1-year warranty period, you take it in and get another replacement. So, but in saying that, it's almost a loophole if it does break continuously because you can keep going back and get
Yep,
replacement ones.
exactly.
But in saying that, yeah, no, I really haven't had one break at all. You'll know when they break because you start to smell, but it's only the 6-inch for me. I had one 6-inch go um, a month or two ago, but I mean, for 160 bucks, come on now.
Mm.
You can't
Far out.
complain. Make that buck out for a correction job,
Exactly.
you
No,
know?
that's interesting. I've never heard of that one, so good run for anyone. That might be a thing for later. Another question coming up. Um, Dream car, or if you could have one car, what would it be?
Oh, geez. Does it have to be one?
Oh, it can be a couple if you. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple top tier lists that are, a bit more, I wouldn't say unachievable, but expensive. Ferrari F40, big one, classic car, beautiful, sounds great. Um, and just one of those cars that needs to be driven. A lot of people collect them and don't drive them.
Mm.
And then, a lot of people have Lexus LFA. I'm a big Lexus fan, love my Lexus. So Lexus LFA, that V10 sound, unbeatable. Um, Obviously, there's some others like McLaren F1s and whatnot as well. I love my older supercars. I don't mind the newer stuff like the new Koenigseggs and Ferraris and stuff, but I like my more classical cars. I don't like the Aussie muscle and muscle cars and whatnot. Not my scene. Don't like them. But I've recently been able to purchase a dream car of mine. Well, kind of. Um, Mercedes-Benz C63, not the newer ones, not the W205s, but the older naturally aspirated V8s, the W204,
What year is that?
24, 2014.
Ooh, yeah, because they were the before they changed, didn't they? They changed engines
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it was a naturally aspirated V8, then they went to
that's
the
it.
bi-turbo V8.
Yep.
But I was very fortunate. One of my clients was selling his. It's a 507 edition. They only made so many examples in Australia. But so instead of the stock horsepower, I think it's like 430 or something, it's 507 from factory, which is more than enough bloody horsepower
That
for,
is enough. Yep.
traffic. So, um,
They sound
yeah,
cool.
yeah, the V8s just sound nice. So obviously fuel's a big thing, but tax deductible technically. So, but yeah, I was very fortunate to do that, and I've always wanted a proper performance car, so it's nice to have that. Oh, of course. I obviously older. Or I don't know how I forgot that older Porsche 911s. Love my 911s.
Mm.
That's the one car we haven't had come through the shop yet. One day we'll have a Porsche 911 come through. It'd be nice. There's a few getting around Cairns, a few GT3s, GT2s, and whatnot. But yeah, it'd be awesome to have one of them come in the shop. They're lovely. My staff love them. I love them. Um, in quite honestly, probably next car, I'd say, and maybe an older 911. Your classic ones from the 80s
Yep.
or 70s. Newer ones, I don't mind the shape. I don't mind the shape from your 2014 onwards where they got the newer ones, but the mid 2000s 911s just nah, don't do it for me. Looks funny, hey, really does.
Yep. No, that's good. Wide variety there.
Yeah.
Favorite detailing tool or product?
Product wise, it has to be um any kind of acid. It's a weird one, I know, but hydrofluoric acid sort of the main thing in, your Alley Bright or your Autosmart Alley King and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's such a versatile product if you live in Queensland. For example, some of the uses we use it for is cleaning wheels. Um, you can I mean, it's a product where you can spray on and rinse off. You know, obviously, given you need to know your wheels well, you need to know what ones react to acid, what ones don't,
Mm.
and understanding your products very well. Obviously, we've made mistakes in the past and understood how acid can affect those. And obviously, if you make mistakes in business, you need to rectify them. I'm a big believer in that. There's a lot of people where, you make a mistake and people just brush them off and give them a refund. But I'm not about that. If we make an issue or miss something, we're there to rectify it. You paid your money. I want to make sure you're looked after always. But yeah, I mean, you can use it for wheels. Red dirt's a big one. People struggle with red dirt.
Mm.
You can muck around with the dilutions, whether it be 10 to 1 or 5 to 1, or worst case 1 to 1. Um, Obviously, your trays, your aluminium trays, big one up here. Lots of tradies with their Hiluxes and Tritons and other things, Navaras and whatnot, with their alley trays, brightening alley trays and boats and whatnot. The one a lot of people don't know um, is you can actually, I mean, I'm sure you know a lot of utility vehicles like Hiluxes and Land Cruisers, they're single stage, they're white, they get chalky. What you can use to remove that chalk and make it easier during your polishing process is acid wash it. A lot of
Yeah.
people I know don't know that. You get, microfiber mitt or whatever, make it wet, and spray your acid solution on the mitt, and then mitt panel by panel, and it'll remove a lot of that chalk and have it much smoother. So when you're polishing, you're not gunking up your pad with chalk, and you can polish more effectively and not have to keep washing your pad out. So such a versatile product, but very misunderstood. People hear acid, oh, it's so scary, and
Mm.
whatnot. No, it's well priced if you buy it, in 20 liters and whatnot. But yeah, just a really misunderstood product.
Yep. No, that's a good one. Uh, Biggest tip for any detailer starting out?
So many, man. I
You've
think,
already dropped quite a few, I think, as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one that may come to a surprise to a lot of people, is understanding if you're a technician or a leader. You need to know where you see your business going. What I mean by a technician or a leader is, are you gifted at detailing or are you gifted at business? You know, I'd call myself a good detailer. I wouldn't call myself bloody Larry from Ammo NYC and know absolutely everything about it. I've just got good experience. It's just 2 years of experience knocking stuff out. I love cars. I love learning. Always up for a challenge to do the bloody hard stuff. Um, and if you're a good detailer, but you're not good with people and the business side of things, it may not be for you to expand. Not everyone is gifted with being able to talk to people or be good with sales or and stuff like that. A good business owner will know how to talk to people, how to treat customers right, how to keep a level head, how to keep staff happy, how to do bookkeeping, how to do marketing, how to do websites, how to
Mm.
scale, all of this other good stuff. Everyone wants to make money at the end of the day, but there's no point giving yourself extra stress if it's not for you. You know, I've always been well, I like to think I'm pretty good with people. At least that's what I get from people is they're generally pretty happy and with the way they're being treated by me. So I've obviously had leadership roles in the past as well, and it's what I like. I don't get me wrong, I love detailing, but I love being able to grow and expand a business as well. I feel my expertise is in selling stuff, in quoting, and in customer service. Like I said, most of our reviews all mention customer service from me, my staff, anything like that. People love being treated with respect because if they give you respect and they're paying you money, they just want a little bit of that back.
Mm.
You know, other thing being, obviously, I was chatting about marketing earlier. If you're starting out, word of mouth probably not going to get you too far. If you want to start snowballing and getting on that roll, you really have to invest money in marketing. Um, Biggest tip I learned from my experience in spending I'm talking like at least $15,000 in marketing. Um, is Google Ads will get you more leads generally in services if you're doing bread and butter. If you're doing niche services, PPF, tinting, ceramic coating, Facebook Marketplace. Yes, there are low ballers, but it's a niche service, and generally speaking, if you've got a good ad and you're a workshop, you're not mobile. If you're a workshop, you've got more potential. Most of my leads for ceramic coating, Facebook Marketplace. Very rarely do they come from the website, even though the website has ceramic coating plastered everywhere.
Mm.
It's mainly Facebook Marketplace I get those messages and leads from, and the lead generation, how much I pay per lead isn't too bad kind of thing. But yeah, you really need to invest heavily in marketing. Even if you don't have the money, door-to-door sales, start ringing up businesses. It's free. Call them, harass them. Keep calling until they have to say yes. Even then, when I didn't have work on or my ads were running and I wanted work, I'd print out flyers and I'd drop them off. Like if you really, really, really want it, you're gonna do that sort of stuff. Geez, man, I've even thought about getting staff to do door knocking while they're on jobs. Like if they're out on a job and they've still got 2 hours left in the day, go to the next door neighbor if their car's dirty. Knock on the door, show them their car, get your finger, wipe it on the wheel. Look at that. Wow, it's dirty. You want me to clean it? I'll be here. We'll do, 20% off, 30% off for you now just because we're here. I know a lot of places in America, like window cleaners, do that, and it's super effective. If you say, oh, we're doing next door neighbors for 165, but if you book in now, next door, we'll do it for, 110 or something. People love a good deal. People love convenience,
Yep.
you know. Um, but yeah, just sort of thinking outside the box. Other thing is, um, make sure you've got a budget to start. Don't just start a business just because you're emotionally invested in it. You need
Yeah.
to have money behind you. I know plenty of people who just could have been successful in business but didn't have the money there. I had been working full time since I was 17 up until 22 when I launched it. So I had a sum of money I put aside and invested in equipment, but I wasn't silly about it either. I wasn't going out and buying the best from the beginning. You know, there's an American guy, Detail Groove, makes great content, makes a lot of good stuff. And even he said, when you're starting off, you don't have to go out and buy a $1,500 pressure washer. You can just start with a Karcher K2, 3, or 4, or a
Mm.
Gurney, or whatever it may be. You don't have to go buy what everyone else has bloody got. Like
Yep.
you don't have to go buy a Repez. I mean, I don't use them at all. Like, you don't have to go buy all this expensive stuff. Sometimes it's worth paying that extra dollar. It is, but there's more economical ways around it.
Mm.
Um, Other thing is just custom service. I have picked up clients on leads when they say, "Oh, we used to get our car detailed." My first question is, "Why'd you change? What made you want to?" Straight away, "Oh, he just forgot to book us in and his scheduling wasn't very good, or he was rude," or you start to learn where other businesses are falling off locally.
Mm.
um, and you really start to learn why people may be starting to go a bit under with certain things. And sometimes a customer may tell you that and it makes you realize maybe you're doing that. Maybe you're falling behind on calling people back and whatnot. Generally, if you send an email, I'll get back to you within at least 5 hours. If I'm sitting at my desk, I'll get back to you in 10 minutes. Like as
Yep.
soon as it's there. I used to call people at 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes going out of your way, I get an inquiry at 10 o'clock at night, I'd call them and they go, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Ryan from Tropix Detailing in Cairns." "Oh, wow, that was quick." And just amazing people with customer service is really what will get them to book in. I've had people leave Google reviews just because I gave advice over the phone. You
Oh,
know,
that's good.
being nice really gets you that far. And the other thing is be responsible for your mistakes from the get-go. Man, if you scratch a car reversing in somewhere, if you burn through paint, these are gonna happen. It's a business. Don't think you can make it through business without paying a bit of money for repair or something. It's gonna happen and it's gonna feel awful. But once you pay for it, someone said this to me a while ago. So I think it was like an ex-psychologist. They said the reason people feel anxious is because there's a problem and they haven't solved it yet. So if you're feeling anxious, I don't know, let's say worst case scenario, you smashed a windscreen, or I don't know, you've scraped all alongside of car, let the customer know straight away. Because then if you try to play it out and make it feel, just be honest with them. Hey, I was detailing, car's all done. Um, and then work out, would they like to pay for the detail or would they like it free of charge, or are you going to cover it? Or I've had one customer, we damaged part of his car. I think there was a scrape on the back of the car. We walked past and bucket scraped it. Let him know. He called one of his spray painters and straight away he paid for the detail, and then I paid for the repair, and he's still coming back to me 2 years later
Yep.
just because of that simple repair. And we went out of our way to do it, and just good turnaround times. If you're gonna have those responsibilities, if it's in the workshop and you scratch a car, call spray painters, get a quote, save the customer time, make it easy and convenient for them. Don't, make it hard for them and whatnot. Just be responsible. Don't, hold yourself responsible for mistakes. Don't just refund people just because you mucked up. Not good.
Yep. Own your mistakes and be
Yeah,
honest.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I definitely can relate to that one. Um, and also just any interests outside of detailing if you get time.
Yeah, I mean, cars, of course. Everyone loves their cars. Um, yeah, I there's a couple local car meets and stuff they go to and have a yarn. It's not always about business, having a chat to mates and whatnot. There's actually a cars and coffee event happening in Cairns tomorrow at local businesses, and fortunately, we're actually holding an event at our workshop next month. So if you want to come by, if you are listening to the podcast and you're in Cairns, 12th of May, I think it is 12th or 22nd, one of them, one of the Saturdays, or sorry, one of the Sundays. It's I'd be the 12th. Um, yeah, just sort of meet around, have a yarn with people. It's always good to do that as well. Just talk about cars. Um, Other than that, I've been going to the gym and training and dieting for over a decade now. I started when I was 14. So it's something to keep fit. Um, Especially with staff as well. Staff still ask me about questions about dieting and fitness, and it's nice to keep the boys healthy as well. Keep
Yep.
them on the side and everything like that. But yeah, aside from that, I've done some competitive bodybuilding when I was younger, and competitive powerlifting is what I do now because bodybuilding is just too much effort, and I don't have the time to eat that amount of food. But powerlifting sort of keeps me on my toes, and it's something to do outside of work. And it's a good talking point as well. The lifting community is really big up here, whether it be Olympic weightlifting or bodybuilding or anything like that. And I've made quite a few clients through the gym. And even then, I'll um I'll go to the gym and clients will say g'day and ask how business is going and this and that. And while I'm there, it's usually a reminder. They go, oh, by the way, and then you book a car in. So it's always good to have those social interactions outside of work. And obviously, you can still have a life outside of work. It's not all about work. But aside from that, bit of a foodie, but not really. It's not really too many great places in Cairns to eat. Need I'm not a huge travel person, I mean, I'm still young. I say youngish, but I'm still young as far as most people are
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah.
Um, I'd like to do some traveling, but that's on the back burner, man. I want to keep building the business. That's what I enjoy. I feel guilty going away from work on a bloody 2-day holiday down south on the weekend, and I feel like I'm guilty. So until I get over that feeling, I'm just going to be grounded in Cairns, just building everything up and making sure everything's going smoothly.
Ah, very nice. So, all right, mate, we might wrap that one up.
Yeah,
You've been very good with your time. So,
yeah,
how can people reach out to you? You've got a lot of good
yeah. They
topics there,
can
and yeah,
reach out to me everywhere. I mean, if you're a client in the Cairns region, you can meet us on 1820 Toohey Street. It's just off Hartley Street, just in Cairns there, near the Food for You or Food Factory, little cafe on the corner there. Alternatively, you can reach me by mobile on 0488 510 959 if you're a local customer and do want to book in. Best to reach me by phone. Um, if you just got general detailing questions or want to have a yarn or anything, you can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook at Tropix Detailing Cairns. Our website is pretty much the same, www.tropixdetailingcairns.com.
no, very nice. So, got a lot of good topics there for anyone starting out or looking to, or even experienced people with a few. bits and pieces in there for everyone. So, no, you done well, Ryan. So we'll wrap it up and we'll go and enjoy our weekends, I guess.
Excellent, mate. Thanks for your time.
Nah, awesome. Thanks, guys, and we'll chat soon. Cheers.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.